Well, what I want to do is I want to give you a perspective of another shareholder. I had a conversation with Jay this weekend. I think it was this weekend or before the weekend when we were talking about Disney stuff. And, someone who owns stock and who is a father of a 10-year-old, I didn't think that when I was young and I wanted to have a son, my family, I come from a family where we had 10 annual passes in the family. Okay. 10 annual passes. And going to Disney is something that we've done multiple times every year since we were little. I mean, it's just something. When I think of my little sisters, and obviously now in her 40s, but I still think of her. My first thought of her is when I was holding her hand and she was like 6 or 7, and we were walking, together, with the family. I never thought I would grow up as a father because I always wanted to be a dad, and I could, number one, not want to take my kids to a Disney cartoon movie. Number two, that I would block and cancel my kids' access to something that, well, I didn't know it exists then, but I know it exists now, Disney Plus. I never thought that I wouldn't want to go to summer vacation at Disneyland or Disney World. I had told my kid a few years ago, I said, when you turn 10 for your 10th birthday, I'm going to take you somewhere and we're going to go to Disney World. Well, this year, my own kid, I just told this to Jay the other day, he shocked the heck out of me when my own kid told me, Dad, I want to go to Universal. Everybody says it's more fun. And I never thought that when I grew up and I had my own 10-year-old that I wouldn't want to take him to the parks or that we wouldn't go to the parks, that we wouldn't be watching Disney on TV, and we sure as hell wouldn't be going to the movies. And I never thought ultimately that this is a company that I would not entrust as a parent to be my ally in terms of entertainment as I try to rear my child in what I regard as being the right way. It is tragic, it is infuriating, and it is unfucking acceptable any longer for this company to operate this way in this world. It is unacceptable for this to have happened, and that is where I sit this day.
Thank you, Mike. That was one of the most tame Mexican Iron Man rants I've heard in all my years.
Isn't true?
I thought he was about to really rip into it.
I got to say, right at the same time, Universal has really stepped up. I went for the first time in years, and in January of last year. And this year, the whole family is going for a week-long vacation. It used to be a Disney vacation. Now we are so happy it's a Universal vacation. I mean, if Brian Roberts, you're watching the best financial analyst on YouTube, congratulations, buddy. You got a great trajectory right now.
Let me ask, that's an interesting point, and I've been thinking about this, Jonas, and you gave me a brilliant segue. And this is a question for everybody here on this panel. How worried, especially after this call, because to me there was a degree of frustration and stress with Bob Iger, especially when those questions came in. How much of that is probably bubbling up from a degree of worry and concern over the fact that Universal is already on a trajectory to just wipe Disney out? I mean, over the long haul, in the next maybe 5 to 10 years, in terms of being the preeminent, dominant force, not only for theme parks. If we go like for like, right, California, Florida, stuff like this, Universal, obviously big expansion. Now, Disney no longer has the crown. They no longer have the crown of animated studios. That now, right now, belongs to Universal, bar none. And it's about to get 10 times worse in 2 days when Super Mario Brothers comes out and the NCU begins. Nintendo Cinematic Universe. How worried is Disney right now? Jonas, Mike, Jay, Lorena?
I think Lorena should go first because I know she said she might have to leave soon. So I award my minutes to her.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it. I'm like side-eye looking at my laptop right now for a message to pop up. Disney should be very, very worried. Like Mike said, my niece, I was like, okay, I'll take you to Disney World if that's where you want to go. And do you know what she told me? No, she wanted to go to Universal. Why? Oh, they have cooler stuff. You know, we saw Shrek and the Minions and Despicable Me.
My kids say the same thing.
All of that. The, oh my gosh. Puss in Boots, The Last Wish or The Final Wish, that made so much freaking money.
Last Wish, yeah.
I enjoyed watching that at home. Man, I didn't see it, in the theater.
Just ordered the 4K physical media of it.
Yeah.
Be here today.
I cannot freaking wait to get that. And on top of that, when you're talking about Super Mario, okay, I'm going to see it in Universal Orlando, paid for the XD seats and paid to watch it in 3D. I'm planning to watch that movie 3 times. People forget Nintendo has better brand recognition around the world than Disney. Hello Kitty actually does more than Disney, and that's what the kids are into. You've got Universal Orlando dumping in like a Minion section. That's going to make a ton of freaking money.
Mm-hmm.
They're updating the Kids Zone, which I believe is now going to be strictly DreamWorks. That's going to make money. They have got Epic Universe coming probably in less than 2 years, because the construction on that is crazy. When I drive by, I can see Super Nintendo World taking shape very, very quickly. There is so much anticipation for that part, especially given how many value resorts that Universal is building, and they continue to build. So yeah, Disney's worried. Iger may try looking like he's kind of cool, like, oh no, we don't have anything to worry about. Yeah, we're going to invest $15 million. Talk is cheap. What are they going to do in 5 years? Because I don't see anything coming.
I think Comcast just decided to call the construction company and pay them double overtime to get this done faster.
Yep.
Because
Yeah,
I think here's what I saw. One of the things that I saw is that the way that shareholder thing opened, it was heavy parks, heavy retail, tourist, in-person attraction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is something that they've got to hold on to. But one man knows the real story of what's going on, and that's Jay.
Yeah, you're on the ground every day over there pretty much. So what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is waiting on Epic Universe to open, and I think Universal has been smelling the blood in the water for a while now. And
I agree.
After that last census report that came out, where Universal, for the first time in their history, had more visitors than Disney, except for the Magic Kingdom, that was the first time that's ever happened, and also the first time in Universal's history over the Orlando month, all their hotels were completely booked out. Now, of course, Disney has a ton more resorts than Universal, but still, they've never had that happen in their history, which is just showing that people, they want to go. They want to go. Be careful if you use that diss Twitter hashtag. I'm just telling you, you will ignite the hornet's nest, because those people take that very, very personally. Like, they block button quick, man. So it's wild. They think that's a badge for their special group, and that everything is good to go. But the other thing is too, is that the one of the biggest complaints is that people, Disney's making it too hard to even go into the parks. Like, you got to make a reservation, you got to use their app, you got to do it by this way. I mean, we've got multiple videos on our Park Hopping channel where people, they paid for parking, that $30, and they go to the front and they're not allowed to go in with their families, because they're like, well, you're supposed to get a reservation. They're like, how was I supposed to know that? But Universal's trying to keep it simple, and making sure that you could go to the gate and buy a ticket. Now, when Universal has sold out, and which they have, which is kind of crazy, they do their best to try to get the word out before you go into the parking lot and pay the $30.
Yeah.
They go, hey, the park is full. You can still park here and go to City Walk, but if you don't want to pay for parking and come back another day, we won't charge you. So it's just all those little family-friendly things that the magic is missing. And then, of course, with the closing of Splash Mountain because of reasons and everything else that's going on in these parks, there's no imagination. Today I was on another podcast before, and we talked about the Donkey Kong ride that they're building here in Orlando, because somebody snuck over there on the property and got a little footage of it. It's amazing. It is like they're trying to do new things. Like, they're just trying to do brand new things. And I won't take up a lot of people's time, but the last thing that no one is talking about is the freaking railroad system that they're building here in Florida, that
Yes.
They went to Disney, a year and a half ago saying, "Hey, we need some money and some land. We could drop people off from the airport, from Miami, from Tampa,
Nah.
from Jacksonville, from all over, right at your doorstep, Disney." And Disney said, "Nah, we're Disney. You should be paying us for that privilege." And Universal just snuck in and said, "Here's almost $200 million. Here's all the land you need. Drop the people off right in front of Epic Universe when it opens. What else do you need?" And they're like, "Okay, cool, we'll do that." So they're building a train station that, people from South Florida, instead of driving 3 hours, can hop on this train, go to the park for a day, get off, go back home, and not have to worry about parking, driving, any of that stuff. And I don't know why people like that the bright line that to me is like that's going to be a game changer, because all those things that Disney used to have, you fly into the airport, the magic school bus picks you up, the express, all that stuff that they used to have, they're done. And it's just like they don't have that anymore. And so Universal's like, well, we'll step up and offer that. So
the hubris of Disney is astounding, even to this day. And that to me was a no-brainer. And what you just said there a minute ago will segue into another point here. And that is, Disney didn't want to put up the money for this. Universal couldn't write a check fast enough. For those of you out there, hashtag Diz Twitter.
Sorry, big shout out to Yellow Flash in the chat. Just wanted to say what's up to my
Flash.
Sorry,
Did
not mean to cut you, brother.
No, I was going to say Flash is still out there, and we were in the middle of some crazy stuff earlier. Flash, if you want to hop in, we can send you the link as well. Just let me know, or I'll shoot it over to your DMs on Twitter, buddy. But what I was going to say was that, Universal could not get the checkbook out fast enough, right? What have we been hearing from the Diz Twitter folks is that, well, the whole Reedy Creek thing was a non sequitur. All it is a name change and a new board. And what have we been telling people for a year? No, it ain't. It's not what's going on. The 1967 deal is gone. Period. Dissolved. Out the window. The only part of Reedy Creek that still exists when that legislative action happened was the boundaries. Disney, Reedy Creek, or as Bob Iger admitted openly in public today that Disney is Reedy Creek. Oops, you done screwed up.
But Valiant, these are the same exact people that actually live in Florida and say, these Disney adults that say, yeah, don't say gay bill. It's the don't say gay bill. It's like,
right.
You freaking live here.
Yeah.
Like, look at the legislation and what it is. You just think whatever Disney say is gospel truth, and you live and die and breathe by it. Like right now, the Diz Twitter is going crazy because they're like, oh, Bob Iger, that's right, LGBTQ. It's just like the civil rights. Thank you, Bob, for acknowledging it. It's like, well, you guys live in this castle of fantasy, and it's like, just read a little book every now and then. Maybe do a Google search, something. But that is the problem with these people, is that Bob Iger is their Jesus Christ, and they will worship at the altar of the castle, no matter what. No matter what, no matter what they say. It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Well,
now, I will say this for Disney. That the fact that they do have these people is what's keeping their parks going, because these are the same people that have criticized the Super Nintendo, and we've done videos of this on Park Hoppin' too. They have criticized the Super Nintendo World that opened at Universal in Hollywood, saying, oh, it's too small, it's this, it's that. They find like a piece of duct tape in the corner, and they're like, look at that, Disney would never do anything like this. This place is terrible, and like all this stuff. And it's a nonstop. This is who they are, but yet that's their, I guess, whatever you want to call it, that's their core base. That if Disney's like, hey, today we're going to charge $350 a ticket, they'll just be like, yes, I've always wanted to pay that much. This is awesome.
There's always going to be an audience out there for that, right? The early adopters, just like all the folks that ran out to book $5,000, 40-hour stays at Galactic Star Cruise and all this, which obviously
they ain't booking no more. That thing's about to be shut down.
Yeah. And I did a video. I did a video last maybe not quite a year ago. I don't remember when it was. I have to go back and look it up, but it was called the price elasticity of Disney or something to that effect. But it was all about the economic a measurement of price elasticity and what Disney could do. And I said at the time, I said, look, what Chapek is trying to figure out, what Disney's trying to figure out is what can they charge? What is the most amount of money they can charge for a Disney experience on a multitude of levels and still reach a level of capacity that they're comfortable with to maximize the profits based on the per user. What did they talk about last year during earnings calls? They said, well, we have increased the per guest, the revenue per guest at Disney was like 25 or 30% after they came out of the COVID lockdowns. So they were still trying to push that. Well, they finally found where the price elasticity ended, and they kind of hit a bit of a brick wall, and the Galactic Star Cruiser is a great example of that. But what I was going to say before, the problem with the castle and everything else, you know, with where they're going into now with Reedy Creek and the level of frustration for Iger, I'm going to make this clear again, going back to the whole Diz Twitter folks out there, listen up. This is the big difference. They're no longer insulated from regulatory scrutiny and taxation like they were before. The Florida legislature has stated, Governor DeSantis has stated, that Disney will now be made to pay for infrastructure that does not necessarily exist inside Reedy Creek. That means, for example, roads between the Orlando International Airport along that I-4 corridor that makes it down into Disney property. Disney's going to have to fork up some money for that, just like Universal does now in tax dollars, because that's where a lot of that traffic is being consumed to go to those particular parks. That's an economic and financial reality, okay? Universal, that's why they were all like, dude, $200 million, you're going to give us a train? You're going to send it right here? Disney said, no, we don't want to do that. You know why? Because Disney was so insulated at the time that came down from the Florida legislature because of the old 1967 Reedy Creek Compact, they didn't feel like they needed to play ball. New day. That's the difference. And I bet Disney right now might be regretting that decision to not play ball on that whole thing.